Well, it just goes to show you that it's not necessarily about how you start, but how you finish. We shot 14% in the first quarter. It didn't seem like we could get anything going offensively. Defensively, we held them. I mean, there was like a 4-minute stretch where neither team scored. So defensively, held the wall until we started making some plays and started making some shots offensively. But that's kind of been our struggle. I mean, the fact that we're 6-2 and we're shooting the ball as bad as we are shooting just goes to show you that the resilience of this team, defensive lock-in, the ability and willingness to put the ball in the right people's hands, go the foul line, make free throws, the little things, we talk about this all year long, the little things make the big things happen. And I felt like tonight it was the little things that added up to the victory.
What is it about this team defensively that makes you guys so good? Because I know you don't necessarily have the big or anything like that. What is it about this team and how they're able to lock in defensively?
Well, they just follow scout. I mean, we're not perfect. We mess up. First assignment we missed was leaving 24 open for the three, maybe the only three that they made. I'm not 100. They made 3 maybe, but she made that big 3, and that was a defensive scout miss. But for the most part, we're in the right place at the right time, and the buy-in on the defensive end of the floor is what makes these kids special, because that's been lacking in the past. But you don't have to be big to block out. You don't have to be big to guard a big. You got to want to, and you got to have heart. And Sadie Hill is a perfect example of a kid that's undersized, still coming off an ACL, nowhere near 100%, but she's got fight in her. And all the kids that play and all the kids that are on the floor in those crucial situations step up and make plays.
You talked about that scoreless stretch there at the beginning for both teams. What are you kind of telling your players when shots aren't falling but you're still defending well?
Shoot or shoot. That's what we told Lex all night long. Shoot or shoot. Because, when you're not making them and you're used to making them, you kind of come over to the bench in the first media timeout with the long face, shoot or shoot. And she kept shooting and then made big shots. Tell Macy Gibson the same thing. She's not getting off as many threes as we would like her to, but she got off a couple at the beginning of the game that didn't go in. What do we tell her? Shoot or shoot. Huge 3 with someone in her face. I think that's the problem. She's too open. On the one she misses, we got to get them to guard her a little harder. But bottom line is kids make plays. And it's not anything about what any decisions I made tonight. It's about the kids, and it's about them putting the ball in people's hands that it needs to be in and making plays.
Jamira McChristian, obviously her size and her versatility, she comes away with a big night, nearly wills them to a victory, but in those last 3 to 4 minutes, what did you guys do differently to kind of lock her up and get her out of the game later?
Well, we started digging a little bit more. Again, back to scout. We weren't identifying that the kids in the corners were non-shooters. And we were pushed out too far, and we were allowing them to go inside and then cut us back door several times. So in the timeout, we reminded them of the scout and said, stay in. If certain players for them are in the corner, we don't have to go out there because they're non-shooters. And our kids did a really good job of making that adjustment, especially I felt like the last 4 minutes maybe. Sadie got a tie up at one time because she was expecting to turn and be one-on-one. But again, just kids being coachable and being able to make those adjustments in the timeouts.
You mentioned Sadie. She didn't even have a field goal. Still had 8 points, about 7 rebounds. How has she grown since she's gotten here?
Well, we always knew Sadie was a kid that we recruited when we first got here, and we always knew that if she could ever get healthy, she could help us. She had a beautiful shot. Look at her free throw shooting. She's 3 of 28 for the year from the field. So she comes into her weekly meeting this week, and she says, I know my role. And I'm going to do my role. And I said, well, your role is also to score the basketball. So what are we going to do to change the fact that we're 3 of 28? And she said, I'm going to come get some individual workouts and get some more shots up. I said, exactly. If she ever gets to where she can score 8, 10 points a night with her production and her guts and her effort, she's really going to be the player that we recruited. But again, she's coming back off ACL. This is her first time. Macy Gibson's the same way. These kids are not 100%, but they're giving everything they got, and just really proud of their fight.
What's the biggest thing this team can improve on? Because I know in the third quarter there was a lot of heated exchanges from your side. You weren't necessarily happy with what you were seeing. What can they improve on?
Well, they know that I'm going to stay after them because I feel like that the competitiveness from the coaching staff has to rub off on the players, and they know I'm not going to let them slide on anything, and I'm not going to. So if you don't do your job or you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to hear about it, but that's part of the coach-player relationship. And if you have the relationship that we have with our players, that we can get onto them and they understand why, and then when the game's over, it's forgotten and you move on, you keep it between the lines. Our kids do a great job of understanding that, and that's because of the relationships that myself and my coaching staff have built with them. They allow us to correct them. They understand that we have their best interests. So, but staying after them is what gets them to do what they want to do. They want to play. They want to please. So we're going to make sure that we stay after them at several times. But our biggest thing is if we ever get to where we can shoot the basketball at a higher percentage, we're going to be a really tough team to beat because we're going to give defensive effort every night. Some night we're going to have difficulty with bigs and we're going to have difficulty on the glass. But for the most part, we're going to give that effort. But our shooting percentage, to be 6-2 and have our shooting percentages what they are, is, I said this before, Christmas miracle, because it's not good. I mean, we're better shooters than that.
We were all talking about Alexis, just how she's grown so much. I mean, she was all over the place with rebounds, running the point, whatever. How have you seen her grow?
Alexis is one of those kids, and I'll just say it. The only reason she's going to Murray State is because her high school coach is there. Wrong. And she continues to prove that every single night. I think the most growth of any kid we've got is Alexis Burpo. I mean, she is everywhere. Just like you said, she's on the board. She's leading the fast break. She's keeping things going. She's one of the best passers and creators that we have on this team. And I just told her going into this year, I said, we need to do some proving some people wrong every single night we take the floor. And if you will play with high energy and high effort, you will do that. She is not a good shooter. She may or may not score the basketball on a given night. She knows that. But every win we have this year has her staple and her stamp on it. And if she continues to play with that high of energy and high effort, she's going to continue proving people wrong, and she's just going to continue to get better.
I didn't realize this at all until a couple people pointed it out to me. Was it a little surreal seeing Indiana State's coach kind of on the sideline, just the type of women's basketball player she was? She was a long-time, I believe, professional player.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything about that at all that was kind of a neat, cool moment for you?
Well, I didn't really think about that, but I complimented her more than anybody in the gym throughout the game. I thought their game plan was outstanding. I thought her scout, whoever did her scout on her team, I thought guarded us exactly the way that maybe I would guard us if I was playing against us. Yeah. And so I gave her a lot of compliments during the game. So she's a good coach. She has 14 new players, cleaned house. They're young. She has 2 players that we recruited that chose Indiana State over us. Number 5, Marie Hunter, great player. She gets to open space, left-handed guard. Really good players. So their program's going to continue to grow, and they're going to continue to get better. They have played an extremely tough schedule, so you can't really look at their record. But when Missouri Valley play starts, they're going to be a team people are going to have trouble with.